AITA for asking my son and his STBW to pay to spend their honeymoon in my winter cabin? My late wife and I invested in a small winter cabin years ago. I'm the owner now after her passing. My son, 22, is getting married to his STBW in a month. They have no money for a destination honeymoon. They were barely able to plan the wedding. He asked if they could spend their honeymoon in my winter cabin and I agreed, but under the condition that they pay me. He acted all shocked and tried to argue that it's his mom's cabin too, but I pointed out how I'm the owner now and that I pay to keep it maintained. He got upset and accused me of being materialistic and selfish after I'd already been unhelpful with the wedding. I told him I did the same thing with his aunt and it wasn't personal. He left with his fiancée and told the family about it. Now I'm being berating left and right and am being told to let him use the cabin and shamed me for asking for money. Info. I already told him a millionth times that getting married so soon was not a good idea, but he refused to take my advice and had no regard for my opinion on the situation. STBW? Soon to be wife. Instead of fiancé. Acronyms are getting out of hand. YTA for making me look up the meaning of STBW. YTA. It's your son. For his honeymoon. You're going to charge your son? Honestly. When you never hear from him, rarely see him, and have no relationship with any future potential grandchildren. I want you to remember this moment, the moment when you typed all that out and found nothing wrong with charging your son to use your family cabin. I wish you good luck, my friend, especially when you are much older and maybe need some help from your family. Life is long, and the arc of the moral universe, as they say, bends toward justice. If you genuinely want to resolve this, apologize to your son. Tell him you'd be happy to have him use the cabin, and that you know it would have made his mother happy to know he would be beginning his married life there. ETA. Is your first name Ebenezer? YTA. You pay to keep it maintained whether it's in use or not. You could have done a nice thing for your son that cost you nothing and still tried to stiff him. YTA. Seriously? Make it a wedding gift if it makes you feel better. Unless, of course, you were planning on stiffing him on a wedding gift too. YTA. I told him I did the same jing with his aunt and it wasn't personal. And that's why your son's wedding should be personal to you. Edit. Per your info edit. YTA for not supporting your son's wedding also. Just say goodbye to him. He's going to quit talking to you very soon. YTA. Ask yourself what's more important, money or your son? YTA. He's charging his son because he didn't want him getting married so young, so he's being petty about it. Good way for son to go LC&C. YTA. When you get old and need help to get around, don't be surprised if your son charges you for every single thing, then says it's not personal. YTA. You could gift your son a few days at your cabin, cheapskate. Info. Do you even like your son? YTA. You said yourself they're struggling for money. Why do you think he asked you? He's right. By the way, it was his mother's cabin too. If I was your late wife, seeing you treat our baby that way, I'd be rolling over in my grave and spend every minute haunting your ass. YTA. YTA for sure. Profit off family is one thing, but as their honeymoon and your own son is a whole other level of cheap. YTA. Is it really going to break your bank to let your son and his wife use the cabin for a week? Do you like your son at all? You're being stingy as hell, and honestly you sound like a grump. Did you make your kids work for their food when they were younger as well? YTA. If he's planning to have kids, hope you aren't planning to play grandpa someday. Seriously? You have to ask? You suck. YTA, asshole. YTA, you certainly are a generous guy. Renting your cottage to your son just like any other paying guest. Can he even pick the weeks he wants, or can you just fit him in around your other bookings? So sad that you have no interest in doing anything nice for your son on this special time. I feel so sad when I read posts like this from people who seem not to even like their children. I mean, you pay for the upkeep whether anyone owes in it or not. So why can't you let your son stay there without paying? If they can't afford a honeymoon, I'm curious how you expect them to pay you. YTA here. You may not agree with his decisions, but that doesn't mean you get to punish him for them. He's right. It was his mother's cabin too. Would she agree with your assholery? Anyway, enjoy being low to no contact with your son and his fiancée. I'm sure the fact that you think you're right will comfort you on the holidays you spend by yourself. ETA to fix spelling errors, added missing words. YTA. My family has a cabin. My dad sold his share of the property to his siblings, so legally I have no claim to it. But you want to know something? My cousin, the caretaker of the property, still lets me use it without charging me because gasp, we're family. This is your son, and your late wife would be ashamed of how you're acting.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.